All right, team. Hey, welcome back to Chief's Corner. This is your Gunslinger Chief Master Sergeant Lance Power. Excited to be here today with a special guest. We have Senior Airman Nathan Petit, who is currently a student in the 39th IOS Det 1 here at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland. Currently in our IQT portion of his training pipeline. You just wrapped up IST a few months back at Keesler Air Force Base.
Yes, sir.
Excelled at that, and then now you're in the midst of IQT to become a 1 Bravo 4 to advance in your training. So excited to have you here today with us. Honestly, it was a few weeks ago. I had an interesting exchange of emails with the Barton Center Command Chief. So Chief Master Sergeant Lackey, it's a great story. So he was here in town, JBSA Lackland, to attend an AETC conference. And I think if I understood the story correctly, he was brought to Lackland. He was walking on base. It was raining at the time. And lo and behold, an awesome airman pulled up next to him in the rain and offered him a ride. And that's kind of where you came in. If you could maybe highlight that experience a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I distinctly remember it was a Sunday night, probably like 8 or so p.m. And I was doing laundry on base because I just moved into a house and I didn't have like a washer and dryer. So I was coming back on base to come pick up my laundry, and I was just going through the gate, and it's very dark, it's raining, and I see this person walking with like a suitcase luggage. I'm like, well, geez, man, it's like don't want all his stuff getting wet. So I kind of just pull it to the side, put the emergencies on, and say, hey, would you like a ride? And he's like a little hesitant for a second, but he's like, yeah, sure. He kind of goes for it. So we're both like not in uniform. I have no idea who this individual is. I say, hey, sir, where can I take you? And he's like, oh, yeah, I just want to go to the Gateway Inn, I think it's what it is, like the check-in for the hotel the Air Force sends. And so we ride over there, and we're kind of talking a little bit. We're discussing, like, oh, yeah, I just cross-trained in 1 Bravo 4. And he talks about he's here for a conference. I'm like, oh, so what's the conference about? He says, the new Air Force Professional Military Education, or PME, that's what it stands for, correct? And so I was like, oh yeah, there was like an enlisted all call that I attended a few weeks ago that talked about like the Airman 100, 200, 300, 400, and it'll be like one of the requirements for ALS is to attend one of the, I think it's Airman 200.
Yeah, foundations.
Yeah. And he was like really surprised. He was like, "What, you know about this? Like what? I'm so surprised you've heard, And obviously it was a pretty short ride, so around that time I pulled up to drop him off and kind of wished him well and told him to have a great rest of his day. And we didn't exchange any names or anything, so the only thing he had to go off of me was that I recently cross-trained to a 1 Bravo 4, and I recently PCS from off it. So it was Tuesday the next week where my supervisor, he texts me, he says, hey, did you pick up a chief in the rain? And I thought that was like code for something, I was like, I'm not sure what you mean. He's like, haha, funny story, there was this chief who's looking for this airman that wants to be recognized, or he wants to recognize this airman, but he didn't catch his name, and he said he came from Offutt, and no, you came from Offutt, and they kind of put all the pieces together, and somehow they found me. And it was kind of interesting because I got pulled into someone's office and they showed me all this email traffic of all these chiefs looking for me, and I was like, geez, this is probably the only time in the Air Force for like a bunch of chiefs looking for an airman is like a positive thing, right? And then it all kind of went from there, and then later down the line they said, hey, Chief Powers would like to do an interview with you, just to kind of talk about a few things. I was like, yeah, I'd love to, that would be awesm.
Awesome.
So hopefully I didn't go like too far.
No, yeah, gosh, so it was such a great experience. Very, very surprisingly, just got an email from Chief Lackey, saying, hey, I had a great encounter and conversation with one of your airmen. Don't know his name. I think he's a 1 Bravo 4, and he was stationed at Offutt. So I had that to kind of start the mystery and kind of figuring how I can solve this. But it was just so exciting to kind of get the opportunity aligned for not only him to come recognize you, because in that short conversation you kind of read back to him all of the Air Force's enlisted professional military education changes that Chief Lackey and his team at the Barnes Center and Air University have come up with. So it was like music to his ears. They just randomly get picked up in the middle of the night in the rain, and and a great airman just kind of telling them about the changes that he helped kind of kickstart some time back. And then you're just super professional, very, very impressive to him. So it was important to him and certainly all of us to make sure we recognize you. And I believe the Barnes Center commander and our Air University command chief, Chief Stephen Blazer. So it was exciting to be a small part of that, but even more so, I think in the process that was great for me is kind of hearing your story and a little bit more about who you are and kind of what led you down this path. So if you're willing to share maybe a little bit about your background, who you are, and kind of what led you to become a cyber warfare operator.
So home for me is Raleigh, North Carolina, just outside kind of the Cary area. And I graduated high school in 2017. And I didn't really know what to do, so I went to community college and was kind of figuring it out. And I was kind of thinking of like career paths and where to go. And I think the thing that really kind of like set me down the path of 1 Bravo 4 is like, it's so weird. I distinctly remember it. It was in 8th grade. They had like a career day where they were like putting on like different YouTube videos, like nurse, engineer, scientist, like all these different things. And one of the videos they put on was these people in like a computer lab, and like kind of the hook was like these people are hacking the government, but getting paid by the government, And so the idea that like there were all these. They didn't know what it was at the time, but penetration testers and like hackers and whatnot that like ethically got paid by the government to do these things, because like growing up from a kid at that point, you only know of like the illegal side. You don't even know that's like a possible like legal career. So that was kind of like the seed that kind of got planted in my brain in middle school, and then as I progressed through high school and just fell in love with computers even more, I was kind of like, well, let's look at this as an option. And so when I was thinking about enlisting in the Air Force, I just went on Wikipedia and like went down the list of all the AFSCs and was trying to find, because I figured in my mind, 19-year-old me was like, what branch of military is going to be the most like powerful in cyber? Well, probably the Air Force, because cyber is in the Air Force's mission statement, if I don't recall. It's like control the space, cyberspace, and the air. I think they might have taken the space part, even the Space Force now, but in 2019, that's what I saw. And so I went to a recruiter, and we started doing all the MEPs and ASVAB and whatnot. And I was like, hey, I'm really interested in 1 Bravo 4, but it seems like, I'm hearing it might be retrain only, but it was kind of murky because they were doing some pilot programs of sending onesie-twosies, and the recruiter was like, no, I'm sorry, it's not an option. Well, that didn't deter me. From day one I knew. And it was actually when I enlisted. Let me know if I'm getting too deep.
No, this is perfect. Yeah, please. Yeah.
When I enlisted as a 9S100, I set a calendar reminder for November 1st, 2022, because that was my day of retrain eligibility.
Yeah.
And so November 1st, 2022, I put in that package. And I loved my job as a 9S100. It was such an amazing career field, and I have nothing bad to say about it. But I kind of feel like my heart always wanted to be like a 1 Bravo 4. So November 1st, I applied. I got notified, I think the first or second week of December that I was in, and then I was in class for technical training in January 20th of 23.
Yeah.
So here we are, one day at a time.
Wow. No, to hear that you were once, upon a time sitting in a classroom thinking about what profession that is going to help you achieve, your aspirations on how you want to serve. And there's a lot of great professions out there.
Right.
So many, friends and family have served, as doctors or nurses or other professions. But, I think you and I and all those who wear this uniform, we're proud to be a part of the profession of arms.
Sure,
but your passion to be a cyber warfare operator, from literally before day one, drove you to a path that you excelled as a 9S100, doing great things, in that part of the Air Force, a very important part of the Air Force, but literally a countdown until the day you could retrain to be a 1 Bravo 4. So great news for the Air Force. We now have direct accession 1 Bravo 4s.
That's right.
We're growing that number each and every year. But I envision a future where you're probably going to connect with those very young airmen and tell this story to them on how lucky they are. They can come right in, and they don't have to set a timer to remind them when they're eligible to retrain for that. Sure. But Airman Petit, Nathan, we're excited to have you on the team. We are America's competition force.
Right.
Being a part of 16th Air Force. But we're in the fight every day in competition, and knowing that you're going to be leading this fight as a cyber warfare operator is very exciting, and we can't wait to continue to follow your career. So thanks so much for being a great airman and then being a great cyber warfare operator. Good luck to you in your training. Can't wait to find out where you're headed next. I think I heard maybe there was a chance you could have gone to Germany, but
yeah, as a 9S, but I'd rather be here.
Thankfully, we have you on the Cyber Mission Force team, and we're excited to flight follow you through cyber and kind of see where you head next. And I think the sky's the limit for you.
I hope so.
Awesome. Well, thanks for team. Thanks for tuning into this Chiefs Corner. Thanks for joining Nathan and I. We're just excited about what we do in the 67 Cyberspace Wing. Excited about Nathan and what we do for America's Air Force.